on fire. Abel.
Pass in?
No, I didn't.
Passes in.
I did not. I only hit admit to Consulate Chu. I don't know if someone else hit it.
2022. We do have a quorum. Do we have any apologies?
None were sent.
Okay. Do we have any issues with the minutes of the last general council meeting, September 29th?
I had an issue. Hold on, pull it up.
Okay.
Yeah, it's under item 8. Small I. When we were talking about Lyme Regis. And it says, third line from the bottom, that Councillor Christopher suggests looking at possible connections between Lyme Regis and St. George's that could strengthen the relationship between the two locations. And I actually suggested a couple of alternatives, and the mayor said, no, that is for the Twinning Association to look at. I think that that particular response should be noted in the minutes.
Okay, I agree.
You agree?
Yes.
All right.
Okay. So does anyone have any issues with that amendment to the minutes?
Nope. Nope.
Yeah. Can I get a proposer and a seconder that we adopt the minutes with the requested amendment from Councillor Christopher?
I'll propose. I'll second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
May I get the proposer and seconder again for the minutes, please?
Councillor Darling proposed.
Councillor Smith second.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, we are now into matters arising, outstanding matters, and the town manager's corporation secretary report. Yes, Maxwell?
Good evening, everybody. Her vacation town manager report is as follows. The town plan has been circulated to policies and regulations surrounding that. And I believe that is it.
It's nothing about the Deliverance Ordnance Island project.
The project is progressing and we are looking into filling the empty space, but there hasn't been any necessary, been suggestions of personal displays or having a shipbuilding in Bermuda, sort of simulation.
Okay. And
Sorry, I think that people who are speaking should probably have their camera switched on when they speak. Properly speaking, everybody probably should be switched on during a meeting, but speakers should definitely be switched on.
I would switch on. My camera is not working at the moment, unfortunately. So sorry about that.
everyone else?
Just give me a second. I'm just pulling over quickly and I'll be right on.
Okay. So that was it for the town manager's report, Ms. Maxwell?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. So committee reports and recommendations. All right, finance. Okay, finance. In finance, we recently passed a resolution for the council Well, with the council, and they had decided that we were gonna put excess funds into rolling CDs in an effort to offset bank fees and whatnot. So just provide a better return on our money. That is progressing. It's well on the way, in fact. Revenue for the past month has slowed, but we are not over budget in any areas at the moment. And as was indicated in the town manager's report, we have some vacant units that we're looking to rent, particularly in our Market Wharf property. We have one vacant unit, and then the other unit is still currently under renovation and looking to be rented once it's completed and the relevant certificates are issued. There were no resolutions to come out of finance, and that is it for finance. Infrastructure. There were no resolutions for infrastructure. As indicated by the town manager's report, the Deliverance Ordinance Island project is still progressing. Colin Campbell has received some response from his Stockholm contact. We are, as we start progressing through our fundraising element, we are still looking to fill the space where the Deliverance once stood in the interim. There has been some interest from various parties who wish to put pop-up shops as well as other displays, as was mentioned in the town manager's report. The marina project is still progressing. The Christian Construction is still in the process of installing piles into the water to create that solid foundation. So that is still ongoing. In addition, on Blacksmith Hill, the work staff repaired a segment of Blacksmith Hill where the underground was eroding under the brick. So they quickly shored up the road, closed the road, and got right to work and fixed it in very quick order. So thank you to them for doing that. Thank you very, very much to them once again. Also, we had the updated proposal sent, no real changes to the Tobacco Bay property. They wish to have an extended lease. The council has already approved that resolution previously. They were just resubmitting because they need to submit it to us, the work that they wish to undertake before they send it to planning. So the committee did not have any issues with their updates, well, the plans that they wish to undertake. And as such, they are sending it through to planning. A lot of it was around adding an upstairs deck to Tobacco Bay, and it also included soundproofing to minimize impact as much as possible to the surrounding neighbors. And that is it for infrastructure. Okay. And governance next. In governance, we had discussions around an operations manual. Unfortunately, the chairman was not available that day. We were looking to her to kind of lead the instruction around that, but the operations manual is meant to be a living document, and we update as needed. So if a situation arises and there's a gap identified in our processes, we identify the gap, we put a process in place to close the gap, and then we annex it into the operations manual at the same time. So that's where we are with that. We were also reviewing our public art policy to create a uniform approach to how we decide artwork and how it's displayed in and around the town. We're also looking at that to go hand in hand with the signage, the historic town signage guidelines, which could be found on the corporation's website, as well as the St. George's Preservation Authority website, the sgpa.bm website, which will give everyone a good feeling of what signage they can and can't use within the historic town and the boundaries. One of the other things that we discussed was putting some priority in place when it comes to being compliant with rules and regulations. We were looking to build a priority list, like to deal with like parking, whether we should have paid parking or not. Also, well, we're about to have some parking enforcement. Well, the legislation has come into effect now, but whether or not we're going to actually employ parking enforcement officers or allow the traffic wardens to carry on and do what they need to do. We also had issues looking at the grease interceptor policy. We discussed that again as well. And that was around restaurants and how they dispose of grease. There was an incident where some grease was poured down a drain and it inadvertently caused a blockage and ultimately caused some damage to a road based on the fact that it blocked and the water had to go somewhere. So we're exploring that and looking at that as well. That is it for governance. Next have activities. And that's Councillor Roberts.
Good evening, everybody. There was no resolutions in the activities committee, just information purposes. The peppercorn ceremony, as you all know, seemed to go pretty well. The only downside was maybe speech was a little bit too long. Other than that, everything went excellently, I'd like to say. The lighting of the town this is going to be, we're going to have Eastern Region schools to participate, and maybe the Salvation Army as well to be there to be singing Christmas songs, a choir or something like that. Instead of just having the Salvation Army, we'd like to invite the schools as well. New Year's Eve, we're still attempting to get some fireworks, looking into other vendors, and everybody was pretty much in support for that. There was no UNESCO applications for activities, and one proposal was from myself, was to work with the Endeavor program somehow and see if we could get some sort of youth race, sailing race going on within the harbor, make it some sort of attraction and to bring people down into St. George's and watch, partake from ashore or by boat. And that was it for the activities.
All right.
In defense of the mayor, he had a whole 3 years to make up for during his speech, let me just say.
Yeah,
Thank you very, very
From the
much,
regiment to the
Councillor
test.
Christopher.
I
You
agree.
said it so I didn't have to put you up.
I agree.
Yeah. Government board member reports, planning board, Councillor Dowling.
Nothing to report at this point.
Okay, Fire Services Advisory Board.
No meeting as of yet, but since then I have been in contact with the fire chief, and we're in talks about getting something together to get this fire plan going for St. George's and for the East End as well. As everybody knows, there's a lot of firefighters now for the airport, so we should have sufficient numbers now to try and wean some off for St. George's. That's what I've been told. I'm still waiting on a meeting with the fire board, which still hasn't come about yet, but he said he's reaching out to the chairman in order to get something going. So hopefully soon we can have one. Hopefully maybe next month.
Did you have any luck reaching out to Dean Rabane or Lyndon Rayner?
Yes, they both passed me on to the chief of the fire service. So yeah.
Fantastic. All right. Okay, other board member reports. You had St. George's Preservation Authority. There was no meeting held. We are still working on an appeal to Cultural Affairs to get a grant so that it will help us operate. We apparently had a new minister installed or sworn in today in that area, so I'll be reaching out to him to have that conversation. Apart from that, things under the preservations remit are progressing. The pub on the square is it's near completion. And the other projects, we're still looking to do a specific project on a specific building to beautify the area. But obviously we need funds, so that's going to be contingent on that grant if we get it or not. So that's where we are with that. We're also looking at creating new ways or developing new ways to generate revenue versus always relying on grants. And one of the things that was discussed in a previous iteration was around trying to charge fees, consultation fees, or like the same as if when you put an application into planning, there is a fee associated with that. So it might be worth the Preservation Authority's while to attach a fee to their consultation efforts as well going forward. And that is it for the St. George's Preservation Authority. We're now in any other business. Councillor Smith, do you have any other business?
Not at this time.
Councillor Chu, do you have any other business?
Not at this time, Mayor. or maybe I can bring up the deliverance model that was in the deliverance.
Sure. Absolutely.
Which belongs to us, actually. Not the one that's in town hall, but the one that was in. I sent a picture to some of the people in the infrastructure. It's not good enough to put in a building. There's possible termites, but I was saying it could go outside somewhere on the National Trust Walk, maybe. That was in the minutes. But I also had a thought maybe it could go down Summer's Garden just for display till it falls apart. I don't know. Just wanted everybody to know that.
Well, I figure a good space for that would actually be in front of the stage during the walkabout. So you could put it on a pedestal and put it in front of the stage. The governor's going to be there, hundreds of people, and they're going to have a look-see at that versus sticking it in the town hall or anywhere close to any buildings that have a high density of wood, just in case, unless you want to douse it with WD-40 first.
Around the keel. Yeah, that sounds like a good plan to use it.
And then after that, whatever state it's in, then we can deal with it at that point. So I I think that's a good idea. Does anyone have any issues with that? All right. Thank you very much. Did you have any other business, Councillor Chu?
No other business, Mayor. Thank you.
All right. Councillor Christopher, any other business?
Yes, I understand that, or my understanding is that we are supposed to have public participation, and I don't think that doing this via party pass or on the line is ideal. And although I think it's still too close a quarters to have our meetings town hall, I think we could have our meetings live, perhaps in Pennos or some other location where there can be some distancing. I myself would probably still wear a mask, but I think that but the public can't participate. They could just watch at the current rate. And I think we're at a place now when we could have live meetings, just probably not 6 inches away from the next person. So I would invite the corporation to consider that moving forward.
Actually, that was actually one of the things that I was going to open for discussion in my any other business. Now, when we say public participation, at the end of these meetings in the public forum, when we go to sign off and before we get into the private segment, I always say a blurb about, if you have any issues, comments, queries, questions, you can reach out at reception at corpstgeorge.bm, or you can call the corporation office 297-1532 if you have any questions of that nature. Also you can also submit questions on the website as well. So you can, there's a link on there, you can click into the link and then submit your questions. And those questions, if can be answered in the meeting, will be answered in the meeting. But yeah, so let's talk about it.
Yes, because I think that is not really an adequate mechanism for public participation. And traditionally we had more by way of scope, number one, and number two, we've all become a bit informal with respect to how we're doing this. I remember when we started, it never really caught on. My view was that everybody should at all times be on camera, for example, but we're not even doing that. But I think that, because this is the corporation. This is, this is like a governing body. And so I think that it is appropriate that that the public have an opportunity to see us live and ask live and treat it live, rather than this what we have here. And it's most inconvenient for me. It's very convenient for me to sit in my office for a corporation meeting, but I think it is more appropriate to have it in the open where people can participate properly.
Agreed.
I do take your point. My experience, like sitting in the gallery versus doing it through this Microsoft Teams forum has been, we typically got on average 3 to 4 people that sat in the gallery for our meetings. A good cross section of the time, people asked some questions, and we were either able to ask them, or we took their information and we replied to them in kind. The thing about this forum here, the Microsoft Teams forum, is that we probably have about maybe 8 to 10 people watching right now, but then this recorded segment gets put into our newsletter, and it also is broadcast on our website as well. I'm sorry, our Facebook page and so on and so forth. So then the coverage is actually exponentially increased. The coverage gets to be 300, 400, 500 people, and then there's people share that out. So the coverage and the exposure of the corporation is magnified through this forum. That being said, Party Pass just made me aware that they have a forum by which they can capture questions and enable us to answer them. So we could actually do the same thing here, but it's whatever the council decides. If we need to go back in person and that's the decision of the council, then that's what we'll do.
The House of Assembly went back live. I mean, everybody is transitioning back live. Other than this, what's going on?
I'm aware the House of Assembly went back live, but I was just speaking my observations of one versus the other since COVID, and I said at the end of it, it's whatever the council decides. If that's what they choose to do, meaning you all, then that's what we'll do.
I have a question. I have to say, during when I was down in the town hall in the Peppercorn, I related that I missed those days when we were sitting in there live. It sounds good. I believe what you're suggesting is maybe start out with the general meetings, and the other meetings we can still do online for now. But I guess one of my thoughts was, if we do have it live, would we still be able to participate online for those that maybe are away or can't make it? Is there a way to do both these days? I guess there is. Would that be an option?
Yeah, you can stream it over YouTube, but the reality is that I just think it's far more straightforward to just do it live, and that is what I think when we went to public participation, that's what's intended, not for somebody who's going to New York to be able to tune in and probably participate. I don't think that's what was intended. But there's other hands. I don't know who else's hands up. I see Party Pass has a hand up still.
Yeah, but Party Pass is not participating in any meeting.
I know, so I was wondering what that was about.
But he was just going to make a statement, which I reiterated, that he has a forum to allow us to capture viewers' questions and be able to answer them. That's what he was going to talk about.
I would say that there were people who regularly came to those meetings. Like, they went to every meeting and often participated. And I think it inures to our benefit to be seen publicly, to be actively listening to what the people that we represent say.
Fantastic. So, what is the consensus, General Counsel? Do you wish to go back to meeting in the town hall?
Can I put a proposal that we go back into the town hall?
You absolutely can, Councillor Smith.
Can I?
Okay, so yeah, I propose that we return the meetings. I guess starting with the next general meeting, so next month, back into the town hall. I think what Mr. Chu said, keeping the other meetings via Teams might be better at this point in time. But I do think that we should go back in the town hall for the general council meetings to allow better public participation.
I second it.
I've just got one question before I.
Yeah.
Councillor Crystal, you were saying that would it be possible to have social distancing in the town hall, or should we go to panels? Is that something?
Well, that's what I suggested was Penos, because I personally am still trying to social distance.
Yeah, so that
or some equivalent venue.
To the committee,
Okay.
would we be comfortable in the town hall?
I wouldn't be comfortable sitting 6 inches away from somebody.
Okay.
I would probably have to wear a mask because it's like sitting on an airplane, even though I'm not wearing a mask now, but that close, I see what you're saying, yeah. So
for the, well, let's.
Okay, so I
Okay.
propose no, not necessarily any particular venue. I just propose that we go back to live meetings
Right.
with any other details to be sorted at such time.
I second that.
I'll third it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 All right.
I believe I'm in favor too. Yeah, I've been asked quite a few questions and I can make do with it. Yeah.
Good job. So the ayes have it. Everybody's in favor. Fantastic. Okay. So the next meeting, you're probably going to be in the town hall. The gallery will probably be in the town hall. And the reason for that is the cost associated to move it to the other venue. But beyond that, if you feel compelled to wear a mask in the meeting, then bring your mask and bring your mask. I'll be socially distanced from you because I'll be up in the chairman's chair. What we can do is leave every other chair within the gallery open, and then we could put some extra chairs down on the floor, versus up on the pedestal, and then we could put the gallery people a little further back in the back room.
Sounds good.
I mean, the logistics can be worked out later. However, I think it's something that should be discussed, but it's definitely, I think we need to have live participation.
Absolutely.
Whether it's where the venue or the setup or whatever can be discussed.
And we also need to, because some people are actually looking for this broadcast now, so we will need to capture this some way, somehow, and get this broadcast out as well.
Right, that's just a YouTube live stream. I do it at church every week
Mm-hmm.
on my phone. Anybody can do that.
Good job. Okay. So that's it for any other business, Councilor Christopher?
No, sir.
All right. Councilor Butterfield, any other business?
Not at this time.
All right. Councilor Roberts, any other business?
No, sir, nothing for me.
Councilor Dowling, any other business?
No, not at this time.
Councilor Swan, any other business?
No, Mayor.
Okay, does anyone wish to propose that we adjourn the meeting?
I'll propose.
I'll second.
Okay. All those in favor that we adjourn the public segment of the meeting?
Aye.
Aye.
All right.
All right. Well, there concludes the public segment of the meeting. If you have any issues between now and our public meeting next month, please call the corporation office 297-1532 or send an email to reception@corpstgeorge.bm. Thank you all very much for listening. Have a great evening. Thank you very much.